buried her sister on a Tuesday. By Thursday, her sister was standing in the kitchen. This is the story of a message that came from the other side and the sister who made the mistake of answering. Rain drummed against the window like fingertips tapping from the outside. Amara sat at the kitchen table, phone glowing in her hand. Her eyes were swollen from days of crying. Hollow nights and hollow condolences had turned the hours into fog. The smell of candle wax and wet soil still clung to her skin from the burial earlier that week. She unlocked her phone. One new message from Nia. Her stomach turned to ice. She stared at the name. It could not be. Nia's number had been inactive since the funeral, disconnected, dead, just like the girl that it belonged to. Amara had stood beside her mother and watched the coffin lowered into red earth. She had thrown the last handful of dirt herself. But the phone hummed again, another vibration, another text. The message read, "Mara, are you awake?" No profile picture, just the familiar name that used to flash whenever her little sister called. Amara whispered, barely breathing, No, this isn't real." Two sisters running through the tall grass behind Grandma's house in Arusha. Amara, the eldest, steady, protective, the one who always walked closest to the road. Nia, 2 years younger, wild, golden-skinned, always daring the world to chase her. Nia had shouted, arms spread wide, "If something ever happens to me, promise you won't forget." Amara had laughed, rolling her eyes. "How could I forget you, dummy?" Laughter. Always laughter. Back in the kitchen, that same laughter echoed faintly through Amara's mind, like a song played in an empty room. She shut her eyes tight. She remembered the accident, the river crossing near Arusha, the misstep on the wet stones, the dark current swallowing Nia before anyone could reach her. They found her body 2 days later near the rocks downstream. The doctor said there was nothing to be done. Amara had been the one to identify her. Now her phone buzzed again. The new message read, "You didn't keep your promise." Her blood went cold. She had never told anyone about that promise, not her mother, not Bio, not a single soul. But whatever was sending these messages knew it. But what Amara didn't know yet was that the messages were only the beginning. What came next would follow her out of the kitchen, out of the house, and all the way to the river where her sister drowned. Night deepened. The storm outside grew restless, pressing against the windows as if trying to get in. Her phone lit up again, this time a voice note. She played it with trembling fingers, static first, like wind scraping over wet stones, then a voice, faint and broken, rising from somewhere that sounded neither close nor far, but impossibly in between. "It's dark here, Mara, so cold. Why didn't you answer me?" She dropped the phone. It clattered on the tile floor, spinning once, the screen casting a pale rectangle of light on the ceiling. That voice, the same lilting tone, the same gentle lisp when she said Mara, the way no one else in the world pronounced it. She grabbed the phone again, shaking, and typed furiously, "Who is this? Stop pretending to be my sister." The reply came instantly, "You still don't believe me." Then another, "Look behind you." The kitchen light flickered. The rain stopped, mid-drop, as if the sky itself had frozen. The house held its breath. Amara turned, slow as stone cracking. Nothing. only her own reflection in the dark window, but in that reflection another figure stood behind her, dark, motionless, familiar. She spun around. The room was empty. The phone vibrated one more time. The message read, "You shouldn't have looked." Amara rushed out of the kitchen and into the living room, heart hammering against her ribs like fists on a locked door. She called her best friend Bio, barely able to breathe as she explained. Bio told her it was a scam. Data thieves, he said. It happens all the time. Delete the number, block it, don't feed it. But Amara could not. Something deep inside her knew that voice, the little catch in the breath, the rhythm of speech was too precise for any stranger to fake. The phone rang again. Unknown number. Tears stung her eyes as she answered, whispering like a child lost in a thunderstorm. "Nia?" A pause, then static-filled and fading. "I can't find the light." The line went dead. Later that night, Amara awoke to the sound of humming, a tune she knew too well. Nia used to hum that melody whenever she braided Amara's hair, a lullaby her grandmother sang, passed down from a time before anyone in the family could remember its origin. She rose, barefoot on cold tile, and followed the sound down the dark hallway. The lights flickered faintly, then steadied into a sickly yellow glow that made the walls look jaundiced. In the kitchen, the humming stopped. Then every bulb in the house died at once. Total darkness.
Footsteps behind her, wet, deliberate. The unmistakable sound of bare feet on soaked tile, each step leaving a print that should not exist. Mara. She turned. Nothing, but the smell of river water thickened the air, earthy, metallic, the smell of stones and deep current and things that do not come back. Moonlight filtered through the cracked window, catching droplets on the floor, each one perfectly spaced, leading from the back door to the kitchen table, where the phone lay glowing. The message read, "You left me there." Amara's breath shattered. She screamed into the darkness, tears streaming freely. The house answered with silence, deep, endless, patient silence. The ancestors ask only one thing of those who listen: share the story. A like, a subscribe, that is how legends survive. Now, listen closely to what happens next. The next morning, Amara drove to the river, the place where Nia had drowned. The road was empty, unnervingly so. No cars, no farmers walking, no children cycling to school. Just fog clinging to the trees, like smoke from a fire that burned long ago. She parked and stepped out, phone in hand. Signal bars flickered between 1 and 0. The air hummed with a strange electric buzz she could feel in her teeth and the roots of her hair. She walked to the old stone bridge. The memory crashed through her. Nia's laughter, arms flung wide, shouting that she was not afraid. Then the slip, the scream, the crash of water, the silence that came after. Amara sank to her knees at the water's edge. For a long time, she said nothing. Then the phone chimed. The message read, "Come in." The water below rippled, though there was no wind. A shadow moved within, dark and slender, just beneath the surface. Amara typed back with numb fingers, "What do you want from me?" The reply came, "You promised not to forget, but you did." And that was when Amara realized the messages were never asking her to come to the river. They were asking her to remember why she stopped coming. A new message appeared, not from Nia, but from an unknown number. "We found her phone." Amara's breath caught. She typed back instantly, "Who is this?" No reply. Then an image appeared, blurry, taken at night, the riverbank, someone standing at the edge, holding a phone exactly like Nia's. Her phone vibrated again, now from Nia's number. "You don't need to look for me anymore." Lightning cracked the horizon open, and in that flash, Amara saw her, standing on the opposite bank, soaked, still, eyes reflecting blue light that had no source. Nia. When the thunder rolled, the figure was gone. That night, Amara sat in her darkened house, every sound amplified by fear and grief and the slow collapse of everything she thought she understood about death. She scrolled through old photos of Nia, whispering apologies to a screen that could not hear her. A subtle warmth drifted through the air, the smell of the hair oil Nia always wore, lavender and smoke. Her phone lit up one final time, one new message: "You can sleep now." The text dissolved from the screen like mist burning off a morning lake. Then a last voice note. She played it, a soft whisper, fading in and out like a heartbeat losing its rhythm. "I forgive you. Don't come looking for me again." The lights flickered once, then everything in the house went dark. But this time, the darkness felt gentle, like a blanket, like closing your eyes because someone you loved told you it was safe. Dawn filtered through thin clouds. The rain had washed the windows clean, and the morning light fell across the kitchen table in pale gold stripes. Neighbors found Amara asleep at the kitchen table, head resting beside her dead phone. Her eyes opened slowly as they called her name. She was pale, but alive. On the table lay a photograph, printed somehow, though the printer had not worked in years. In the photo, 2 children, hand in hand by a riverside, both smiling, one of them, Nia. Across the bottom corner, faint words were scrawled in ink as if traced by a wet finger. "Together, always." Weeks later, Amara deleted every message, changed her number, and moved back to her mother's house in Arusha. She planted flowers by the river where Nia had drowned, lavender because it was her sister's favorite. But sometimes, at exactly 11:47 p.m., her phone hummed once, a phantom vibration. No notifications, no missed calls, just the feeling of someone trying to reach her from very far away. And once, drifting half asleep, she heard that soft laugh again, Nia's voice, light and teasing the way it always was. "Don't forget me this time." Her eyes opened to darkness and silence. Only the faint reflection of the moon on the window pane looked back. But in that reflection, 2 shadows moved, side by side, hand in hand. Some doors between the living and the dead are not meant to be opened, but some are not meant to stay closed. If the dead reach out to you, perhaps the question is not why they came back, but what you forgot to say before they left.